Have you ever noticed how ants are such busy little creatures scurrying back and forth, going around the place, just trying to make their way to wherever they seem to be going? Kind of fascinating. No pattern, no rhythm, but simply a lot of movement and a lot of scurrying around. I understand the concept of scurrying around and sometimes being unregulated because my life is like that at times too, and sometimes that gets pretty frustrating where I maybe appreciate a little more organization, a little more direction, trying to keep things a little more regulated. What you're going to see here on the next clip is a video I took on a recent trip to Colombia. It was outside of the city of Santa Marta. I was in a taxi coming back from a tour that I was a part of. And I just want you to watch it and see, is it like highly regulated or is it like ants scurrying across the pavement?
He was about 20. He lived in Spain for a year. My dad, when he was about 20, he lived in Spain for a year. And he said, like, the people from the USA were there also. And they were, like, really try on with their Spanish, but nobody Spanish. They didn't recognize like.
Temblando en tus manos, así que no me dejes caer. Sabes que estoy volcando en tus manos, en tus manos. Envío poemas de mi puño y letras, te envío canciones de 440, te envío mis fotos cenando en Marbella.
3 days before that video was taken, I landed in Cartagena, Colombia. And my first experience with traffic was in the rear of a taxi going from the airport to where I was staying for a couple days in Cartagena. I was petrified. I'm used to traffic staying in their lane. I was used to there being, order and predictability. Motorcycles going, weaving in and out, turning where they wanted to, cars turning, even though there might have been traffic lights to try to regulate the traffic. It seemed that very few people obeyed them. And so I'm petrified by this. This is all too new and scary. And yet, as I walked around later and looked around, I saw very few accidents. But yet, why can't people just stay in their lane? If the kind of scurrying about of ants and traffic and motorcycles and all the things that were going on in Santa Marta are a little too much, here's some regulation. Road construction, signs, barriers, funneling all kinds of things into easy, restrictive setting. Have you ever taken the time to watch bugs go scurrying about? They don't have lanes, they don't have directional arrows, but they have freedom just to meander and go and get where they're going, stop when they want to. Kind of fascinating to watch the scurrying and the freedom that insects have. Now, being a bit removed from the situation and having some time to reflect on what was going on, I stop and wonder about my fears, about not being in control, in that I wasn't driving, everybody else wasn't abiding by the rules that I thought they should abide by. And yet, looking at it, everybody was getting where they needed to go. They were free to scurry about, and yes, there were horns that honked on occasion, but nobody was flipping anybody off. Nobody seemed to be having road rage. Everybody seemed to know that they would get where they needed to go. And if you listen back to that clip, and I'll play a little bit of it, the people in the back seat actually, after a bit of conversation, started singing to the music on the radio.
Temblando en tus manos, volcando en tus manos, leo poemas de mi puño y letras, te envío canciones de 440, te envío mis fotos cenando en Marbella y
We live in a time where it seems that everybody is a bit scared, and I have my understandings and maybe thoughts about why that's happening, but nevertheless, to live out of fear, to say we've got to stay in control, we got to keep people and culture in its own lanes, takes away freedom, takes away, if you want to say, the fun of scurrying about. And for the most part, people are not going to do things that are going to harm them. And yet, we're kind of told that if somebody isn't in control, that if people don't abide by the way I think they should abide, then things are going to go terribly, terribly wrong. How egotistical. Maybe like the insects, maybe like the ants. We just enjoy the freedom of scurrying, and if you want to say, to live and let live, and enjoy the opportunities we have to see life in different perspectives. Once again, thank you for watching.